If you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Today on the Compliance Tip of the Day, we look at the Board of Directors Compliance Committee and why every board needs one. Under the U.S. Sentencing Guidelines, a board of directors must exercise reasonable oversight on the effectiveness of a company's compliance program. The DOJ prosecution standards pose the following queries. Do the board of directors exercise independent review of a company's compliance program? And 2, are the directors provided enough information sufficient to enable the exercise of independent judgment? Moreover, the 2020 FCPA Resource Guide 2nd edition required a CCO to have direct access to the board or appropriate subcommittee and requires tangible commitment from the top levels of the organization, starting with the board of directors, that the company create an ethical culture. This requirement was also brought forward in the 2017 FCPA Corporate Enforcement Policy, which is now just the Corporate Enforcement Policy. It's also embedded in the 2024 ECCP, where the following questions are posed. What compliance expertise has been made available to the Board of Directors? Have the Board of Directors and/or external auditors held executive sessions or private sessions with compliance and control functions? In today's regulatory climate and hyper-transparency of social media, it makes a board compliance committee task seem almost Herculean. There is simply more regulatory climate. Shareholders and other stakeholders are taking a much more active role in asserting their rights against board of directors. It is incumbent that a board seek out and obtain sufficient information to fulfill their legal obligations and their business obligations of good corporate governance and keep their companies off the front page of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, or the Financial Times, just to name a few, to prevent serious reputational damage. A Board of Directors Compliance Committee is a good place to start. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Why should a board have a compliance committee? Well, it's there to provide oversight and assist a CCO. Two, how should a board of directors do it? By holding the CCO accountable. And 3, what should a board do? It should lead strategic planning together with the CCO. And from these 3 examples, you see the strategic oversight a board should provide to a CCO, and it can lead to a much more robust compliance program going forward. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily, and frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, this podcast contains promotional materials.